Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. I am your local art witch and today we are going to talk about the Starcodes Astro Oracle. I went away to a friend's wedding and while I was there, I was like, what are the chances that there's a metaphysical shop here? I was on Prince Edward Island and what do you know, they have stores. So I picked this up because I love astrology and I want to use it more in my daily life. And yeah, so I bought this because I've been eyeing it for a little while. The cards look gorgeous. So this is a 56 card deck by Heather Rowan Robbins, and the artist is Lucas Lua de Souza. I am sorry if that's not how you're supposed to pronounce the name. It comes in this really nice box, nice and sturdy. It was, $36 Canadian. So let's open this up. It does have these little tabs, so it's a little bit easier to to open. Here's the guidebook, and look how thick that is. And it's got a nice amount. Now, I have not read through it. Oops, sorry. Have not read through it, but I am really excited to start reading through it. So, the cards are quite large. Yeah, about the size of, a little bit smaller than the size of my hand. I am told that my hands are small. Do I have? Okay, there it is. I've got, so that's a standard playing card, and yeah, so that's a standard tarot card size. I know it's a book, but here. So quite a difference, but I don't think I'm going to be shuffling these cards very much because I want to use this to study with, and I'll get to that here in a minute. Okay. Now, I did previously open this deck to look at. I could not resist. Let's do this. I've got some thoughts. Okay, so the inside of the box, pretty. I love it when they add just a little, like it's a nice touch, So, as I said, 56 cards. I'm sorry if my voice gets weird sometimes. I finally got, the C19. Almost 3 years in, finally have it. So, now, let's just keep this nearby. So, Lucas here, I just love their artwork. It's emotive. It's so pretty. I love all the extra little glyphs. This is the fire symbol. It's got the little Aries symbol, so that's the ram. And you can think of this as like symbolizing the face. You can kind of almost see it like this is the nose, the eyes. And that's what Aries that's the area of the body, is the face that Aries is kind of in charge of. The cards themselves, I feel like I'm being mean because I do genuinely enjoy this deck, but the cards are super thin. Like, it's fancy paper almost. I was really surprised and disappointed because, as I said, it was almost, I think after taxes, because taxes are 13% where I am, 13 or 15, I don't remember. So it's $35.99 plus taxes, basically $40 for 56 cards. You want the card quality to be nice. I have half a mind to laminate these cards to make them a little bit sturdier because as I said, I really want to use them. Okay. Here's the back. It's gorgeous. Like, the cardstock the artwork deserves better cardstock, you know? Anyway, let's move on through the deck. And then I want to sort of discuss how I plan or hope to use this deck to increase my astrology practice. I plan on keeping these in order because of the way I want to use them, but this is Taurus. So once again, the sigil. So Aries, I know I'm going backwards, like basically starts in late March, early April. And remember, April Fool's Day used to be the New Year. So this is the first zodiac in the wheel. This is when the year is supposed to begin. So it's very appropriate that Aries runs it. And then this is number 2. So this would, if that's April, then this would be mid-April to May. Here's Gemini, which are the twins. I love that they use 2 B's. This is really cute. I would get a tattoo of, like, all of this is gorgeous, but especially this right here. Kind of want that on my body. I should write to Lucas and see if that would be okay. I say as if we're, you know, old, good friends. So there's the sigil. Look at that, Cancer. So this is late June, early July. So this is the first one of the summer. So these are all spring. And then we go into summer. And the little water symbol. Yeah, so that's air. And you can remember it because the line is up higher. So you think of like the atmosphere, the air is higher, the earth is below. And then fire, if you imagine like a flame, it's sort of that shape if you squint. And that's how I try to remember anyway. I like these little symbols right here. I need to read the book to see what that's about. I just noticed that this has a moon too. Weird. I'm going to be curious about that. Okay. Because I'm not seeing... It would be cool if all of them had kind of their planet on the card. Because that would help me remember. I ideally do not want to write on these cards, even though I want this to be a study deck. Look at that. Love the Leo. Another fire sign. Virgo, look at that. Isn't that, I think of earthy, hard workers. So earthy people, super pretty. Libra, love this. I'd get this on me too. It's gorgeous. There's Scorpio. Sagittarius. Yep, so there's Jupiter right there. This is my astrology symbol. So this is November that we're getting into. Mid-November to mid-December. I love the Archer. Capricorn. I always thought this was the coolest because like it's a goat and he's part mer, like part part fish. And there's his little symbol. I never remember that he's earth because he seems like he belongs in the water, sort of, but it's Aquarius. And this is air, even though it seems like it should be water. So that some of them are a little confusing. Look at Pisces. I kind of want this on my body too. Like, that is gorgeous. Because all of us have most of the signs within us. And I'll go into that in a different video if I can find a way to... Sorry about that. People are driving their cars right near. It's hot in my room, so I have my window open. I'm just closing it here. And there's these people with like, my husband and I call them the fart mobiles. Okay, so there's Pisces. the dreamers. And then it has this symbol. So it looks like a fancy H. It's hard to tell because this line goes through, but it does stop. And then I try to think of that as the two fish. I get this one mixed up with Gemini because they look different, but they're very similar at the same time because there's two, right? Okay, so what is number 13? Because I did not look at all of them because I wanted to do this with you. What are, okay, so dignified, debility. Oh, okay. So where planets do their best, and this is when their energies don't work. So if you look at, just a second, I'm gonna have to get out my stuff, aren't I? Where is my stuff? One moment. Okay, so I went and I got some stuff. This is Essential Astrology by Amy Herring. And I brought this so that way we can see a chart. Now, around this, so think of this circle as the earth. And you're standing on the earth and you're looking up to the skies. This is where everything is. That is not focusing. One moment. That's a little bit better. So you're standing here. The sun is in this hemisphere. It's under, see what I mean? Pisces. What time of year is that? But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that the planets, as they move through these signs, their energy is either magnified or lessened, depending on where they are in this circle. So I don't know what these other planets are, but this is what this person's chart looks like. So if the sun was in, I don't know it by heart, but let's say Cancer, I would assume that it would be debilitated there because it's very opposing energy. The sun does best in Leo, or, you know, even other fire signs would be fine. Now, I think I have a nice chart here. So this is sort of what you want to imagine. So there's the Earth. This is how we're rotating. And from your position on Earth, these are turning. Well, these aren't turning, I guess we are. But this is how we're seeing it. Hopefully that makes sense. So, and then these turn this way. I might have made some mistakes, but anyway, so this is so we can see how it works a little bit better. So that's what these cards must be. It's when the planet is dignified or debilitated, or 13, 14, retrograde. That is when a planet appears to be going backwards from our view on Earth. Now, obviously, the planets don't actually go backwards. It's just based on our observations from Earth. So you'll often hear, you know, Mercury's in retrograde. That's what it's talking about. It seems like it's falling behind us, and Mercury goes retrograde, I think, about 4 times a year. So this card is helpful. I will have to read about this one, but look at this artwork. So pretty. Ooh, solar flares. I have not read about solar flares in astrology, but still very pretty. There's the sun. So in astrology, you've got your planets and your luminaries, your sun and your moon, because they emit light. But in astrology, we consider them planets for the purposes of, you know, reading a chart. There's the moons. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. I would also get a tattoo of that. See, I'm just going to be covered in Lucas's art. Oh, it's gorgeous. And look, it's Mercury. So pretty. Look at Venus. Oh, it's so pretty. We've got the pomegranate. Mars. That's perfect. Jupiter's abundance. I love that the planets are being so, they're front and center. Well, with the exception of this one, but kind of sad that you don't actually see the moon, but we have all the phases here. And then we've got some, I'll have to read about the, oh, it's abundance. Duh, right there. Yes, structure. So Saturn's about, yeah, structure, keeping to, I think of the Hierophant, you know, sticking to rules and stuff like that. That is gorgeous. This is about change and revolutionary stuff. So Uranus. And here's its symbol. That's pretty, I like, it's interesting to me that they chose dice over here. Neptune. Yes, Pluto is a planet within astrology. So we still get to enjoy it as a planet. Chiron is an asteroid that passes through. We know it as the wounded healer. And finding that on your chart can be really helpful. Tells you what has hurt you, but also how to heal it. Like how to get down to it. Ceres is another comet. I want this on my body too. This is a problem. Pallas Athena. I have not studied this one. I don't know anything about this one. But I assume that's another comet. Juno, I believe, is a moon. Around Jupiter. Should be Jupiter. Vesta. I've heard about, so all of these I've heard of, just some of them I haven't studied at all. So this is exciting. It's more for me to study. Okay, so the moon, we also kind of study the nodes on the moon. These are not visible points, but kind of measurements. So the north node and the south node. And your south node is about where your comfort zone is, but your north node you can think of as your North Star. It's not going to be comfortable, but ideally the direction that you want to go for growth, right? Your path, as it were. I love that they have all the moon phases here. So pretty. Yes. Oh, I love that. So your past, your present. Sorry, not present, future. Okay. So your ascendant. This is why, if you're going to get a birth chart done, it's really important to know the time of your birth. Not just the month, but the actual time of day. I'm going to show you a birth chart. So because I happen to know, this is my son. I knew what time he was born. So let's talk about it. Right, so he's April, so that's why the sun is over here in Aries. And you can tell that he's born during the day because see this horizon line right here? If it's above here, it's during the day. This is the day, this is the night. He was born in the afternoon, which you can kind of tell as the sun kind of goes through. This is your ascendant. So your ascendant is decided based on the exact time of your birth. So he was born at 4 in the afternoon. So his sign is Virgo. Yes, Virgo. And that's his ascendant. And then that's also how we tell our houses. So without your birth time, there's not a very clear, like, where do things lie, right? Your ascendant decides where, and it goes counterclockwise. Your ascendant decides everything else kind of in the chart. Everything kind of follows. So without knowing your ascendant, I don't know where the houses are, which means, so the planets are the energy. The signs here are how those energies are expressed. The houses are where it gets expressed. So sorry, my son's first house here this is the house of self. This is how you present to the world, how people perceive you, sort of thing. And that's Virgo. And that does, like, he's very Aries, as you can see. He's got all these planets over here. And then this is possessions, like values, and that's in Libra, and so on and so forth, right? So it's pretty cool stuff. I really enjoy studying it. So that's your ascendant, and then opposite of your ascendant is your descendant. This is the midheaven, which is like the circle I just showed you. Your midheaven is the one that's at the top of the clock. This is the bottom of the clock, so the root. This tends to be like the most secret area of your chart, because it's below the horizon. It's out of the light, right? There's the houses. Oh, gorgeous. Resources, perfect. Yep, communication is what your third house is about. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, so your fourth house is your home, your family, what you're born into, kind of. Passions. Gosh, so pretty. Sixth house, sustainability. I'm trying to remember. I don't have them all. I took a long break studying. Yep, seventh house of relationships. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Exploration. Yes, so that's probably ran by Jupiter. 10th house authority, which must be Saturn. I'm sorry, I'm pausing on these cards for so long because, like, the colors, like, it's just, I'm not sure the camera's doing them the justice that they could be. Your community. I love that it's got the three hands. Everybody kind of pitching in, and 12th house. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, these are chakras, aren't they? I don't study very much about chakras. It is, from what I understand, some sources say that it's closed. Some sources say that within a certain sect, it is open, and they do have chakras, but so I haven't touched it too much. I don't want to tread where I am not welcome. But chakra work does intrigue me because I do think maybe it could be healing, right? Yes, so a conjunction is, that's when they're close to each other, like within a certain orb. If I remember right. It's been a while. A trine or a sextile. Oh, so pretty. Look how the cow's like looking up. So the way the planets make, I'm trying to explain way more than I thought I would. Where did my son's? You'll see these lines. So these planets are making, their energies are feeding into each other. So here, see how they're all feeding on each other here with this line. So his Sun, his Mercury, his Mars, and his Uranus are all kind of feeding each other and playing into like this energy, right? Because they're so close together. So Mercury's communication, Mars is your action. Like, it's very, this is probably why I see my son as more of an Aries person than I do a Virgo, even though his ascendant is in Virgo. So that this is a conjunction, and then we've got some charts you can get in the circle. It will have these little symbols. So that's a trine, that's a square, this is a conjunction, that's a sextile, and some of them are considered like easier aspects than others. And that just means like if it's an easy, like a trine, it means that the planets are getting along and playing nicely. But if it's a square, it might be a little bit more difficult. So I'm glad that they have the aspects here, because the aspects I have a harder time with. Because there's major aspects and then there's kind of minor ones that don't have the same type of energy, right? Gorgeous. Oppositions, yep. So that's when planets are 180 degrees from each other. Square, yep. Squares are more difficult. This is when the planets are transitioning. Progressions. And that is it. I am so excited to bring these around with me, to read the book, because some of them I wasn't exactly sure. Like this one, I'm not 100% sure what I'm meant to get from this card. And I'm kind of curious as to why these cards are numbered, and if there's any particular meaning behind that. It has the fire symbol here, so I'm going to have to read about that to see if that is supposed to have a fire energy. So I really think this deck is going to help me study and hopefully understand astrology in a more intuitive way. I still have a bit of a hard time with it, but I love it so much. So yeah, that was the Starcodes Astro deck, Oracle deck, by Heather Robbins and Lucas de Souza. I believe you could probably even, I think I've seen this at Chapters before too, on Amazon. Yeah, my only complaint about this deck is the paper quality. I guess it's not the worst paper quality that I've ever, but I was disappointed, I won't lie. So that's the Starcodes Astro Oracle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was really fun. I know I kept you a long time, so if you made it to the end, thank you so much. I will try to learn not to be quite so rambly in the future. And I am excited to see you all again. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye for now.